Well, that was an interesting start, wasn't it, ladies and gentlemen? I switched it all on, and all I got was a black screen on the feedback to know whether I was on or not. Just a black screen. Black. Nothing. Nothing. So, as I typed, can anyone see anything? Which I typed for those watching on YouTube thinking, what are you talking about? We've no idea what you're talking about. When I type on the computer to get this to put something in the comment, it affects OBS, the system that puts the screen up, so it'll just like do random things. I don't know why. It just does. Anyway, hello and welcome to another show. I think I'm there. Some people have joined. I can't say hello to you because it's scrolled well past now. So hello to everybody. Right, now, listen, I need cheering up, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm not in the right mood. I'm all frustrated. The show started all wrongly, and I'm not in that psyched up mood ready to go. So I need you to help me. I need you to give me a subject to talk about, which will be good. And I need you to give me positive feedback. I need you to be nice to me. So that's the way it's going. Or I'm just going to find that I'm going to go, can't do it today. So, need a bit of love. I need a bit of love, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I need. Just finding myself in a very strange place. One of those days. And I'm not going to hide it from you. If I'm not feeling in the mood and up for it and all bouncy. If I'm not feeling for it, then you know, why wear a mask and bung out the big white teeth, the big silly smile, and put on the gurney face when you're not really there. So, yeah, I need, we've all got to, you know, everyone's going to get behind me today. Get me there. Right, let's see. Hello, there are people say, I can see you, says Fiona Cooper. Thank you very much. Anne Osborne, we can hear you. Marvellous, which is very good. My eye is causing me jip as well, which is not helping. I've got a load of pug in my eye. Lovely Liz Housden is there. Hello to you. Mark Selwood is here. Evening to Henry's Adventures. Oh, right, evening. No, this isn't Henry's Adventures. This is the Vobes show. You've tuned into the wrong programme. Lovely George Timfley is there. Shirley Ward is there. Golly, I don't know what's going on. It seems to be a massive delay today. Who's that? Lovely Liz Houston says, I love you, sweetie. Kiss, kiss, kiss. Thank you very much. That's very kind. Did you do the box on Monday? I didn't, but I have got the box. What's in the box today? I have got a thing in the box. So I've got a thing in the box. So you can have a guess at that, which would be good. Mark Selwood says, if anyone have to go, hi everyone, have to go, have a super evening, can't stay for Richard to pick up. All right, fair dues. Nice of you to pop in, though. Nice of you to pop in. Claire Leach sending a whole load of love hearts. Thank you very much. There we go. I'm settling down. I like it when you're Oh, thanks, Glenn. I like it when you're grumpy. Well, I'll be as miserable as sin. How about that? That would be fun. Hooray, finally caught it. Well done, Chris E. Nash. Finally, live and direct. Here he is. Hello, Chris E. Nash. Where are you? Chris E. Nash? That's not really your name, is it? Chris E. Nash. But I quite like that, Chris E. Nash. Hello, Chrissy babes. How are you? Are you all right, mate? Where are you, Chrissy Mash? Chrissy Mash? You're not a mash. I did the monster mash. It was over in a trash. Yeah, where are you based, Chrissy Mash? Chris, where are you based? And thanks for coming to the show. He says, he said it twice, actually. Hooray, made it! Hooray, made it! Which is great. Laura Riddle says, your eye in the box. No, I've got pus in my eye. It's definitely not in the box, but it is a small object. Yes, it's a little hamster that's hitting his head rather. No, it's not a hamster. Don't say that. Dean Cooper says, hello, Richard, using a new Microsoft keyboard. Who? You. A Microsoft keyboard. Nice, new, brand new one, without the crumbs in between all the characters, which is useful. Danny Harris says, at least they have knocked down that horrible shopping centre in Worthing, Richard. Cheer up. What? Oh, you mean Teville Gate? Is that the one you're talking about? Or have they knocked down Oh, what's the sodding name of the place in the Gilbourne Centre? Do you mean the Gilbourne Centre? They haven't knocked that down. Not unless they bombed it today. A teaspoon in the box, says Anne. Blimey, coming in thick and fast already. Bear with me. Bear with. Eye in the box. Hello, Richard. Oh, you've done all that. Teaspoon in the box. Hello, James Askoff. How are Askoff? It's not Askoff, is it? Askoff. How do you pronounce your surname? Askoff. Is it Askoff? John Berger says, it is the Chromecast that I sent you that you're now breaking by shaking it. Yes. The lovely John Berger, thank you, John, for sending in the Chromecast. I haven't quite worked out how you power it up, because you keep saying a USB. Well, you know what it's like. USB leads are only about that long, aren't they? I don't know where you're supposed to plug it. Am I supposed to plug my telly into my computer to get the power from the USB? Or have I got to plug, because it won't reach to the socket? It's a shame it just doesn't have its own power. It takes the power from the telly. That would be good. Danny, oh golly, it's all gone so quickly. Wait, no, stop it. Stop mucking about. Nikki says hello. Hello, Nikki. How are you? Nigel Sadler has joined. Claire Leach, do you need to have a rant or a moan? Probably both. Probably rant and moan at the same time. Christopher Edward, says Chrissy Nash. Hello, Chrissy. Where are you, Chrissy Nash? Liverpool. Liverpool. I'm coming up to Liverpool. I'm coming up to Liverpool in March. It's not been confirmed, but a client of mine needs me to go up to Liverpool. So I may be coming up there, which would be interesting. Never been to Liverpool before, so I'm looking forward to that. My phone's playing up. Oh, sorry. What is it playing? Is it playing up with the thing and down with the doodah? Might be. A hamster with a headache. Yes, it's got a little bit of a headache now. But don't say anything, because the hamster might put the box in its pouch. John Berger says, is it the Chromecast that I sent you that you are now breaking by shaking it? No, it's not the Chromecast. But I'm asking you, I still don't understand this power system. See, the idea, what I want to do, John Berger sent me this Chromecast because he was very upset that I didn't have a television and I was unable to stream my stuff. I want to buy a television. I don't want to buy a television. Forget that. I don't want to buy a television. I want to buy a television-sized monitor. So I want a television, but without the function of a television, i.e., I don't want to pay a BBC licence for it. That's basically what it is. So it's not an eraser, thanks, Dave Ford, but it's like an eraser. But it's nothing like an eraser, actually. It's not made of rubber. But I want to buy a television that's about this big, right? Or a monitor that's this big, that I can mount on the wall, that I can, when I'm editing my videos, I can run them back without looking at the small monitor on a big monitor and look at it and appraise it and go, oh yeah, that's all right, that works. And also then with the Chromecast, I want to plug that in so I can stream stuff from YouTube or Facebook or wherever onto the telly instead of looking at it on my phone. And I can relax of an evening, and watch this. That's what I'd like to do, and mount it on the wall. Now I'm going to mount it where my Spitfire is, but it means I've got to find some. I might put my Spitfire in here. That would be nice, wouldn't it? I've got a Spitfire, but I might put my nice Spitfire up there. So I want to mount a monitor on the wall above my edit suite so I can do that. But I don't want to buy a television because I don't want to have to pay for a licence. Although I do actually have a licence, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Just so you know, I do actually pay for a licence. Robert Croser is here. Steve Pilfold. Is it a fish cake? It's not a fish cake, actually, Steve. It's not a fish cake. Definitely not a fish cake. What else have we got? Is the thing in the box... Linda Kane says, is the thing in the box and inside? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Claire Leach says, I've heard about the earthquake in Crawley to Glen. Good. I haven't heard about that. Whoa, wait. I think we've just had a little bit of it. Laura Riddle says, could you say hello to Jack and Liam, who are in the room with me, please? Hello, Jack. Hello, Liam. How are you? Be careful. There's a little bit of an earthquake going on here. Earthquake sound effects there. Earthquake sound effects. And now a man with a pneumatic drill outside the window sound effects. Always ever useful. If ever you need a man with a, it could be a woman, of course, I don't want to be sexist, a person, a pneumatic drill operator. If ever you need one of those for your video productions and you're thinking, do you know what? This romance video that I'm doing about Romeo and Juliet, what it's lacking is a man or a woman with a pneumatic drill outside going... Because if you need that, then I'm your man. Please get in touch with me immediately. Is right cool is playing double text. Oh, right. It's right cool playing double text. I wish I could do a Liverpool accent. I can't do a Liverpool accent. What wonderful weather we are having, says Dean, stating the obvious. Don't panic, Dean. It's going to change. We're getting some cold weather coming. Danny Harris says, is it crystal meth in the box? I don't really know what crystal meth is. Is that like methylated spirits that somebody somehow has crystallised? Methylated spirits, I think, is purple, isn't it? That would be nice, wouldn't it? A little purple. It would be a purple thing. Stephen Gostelow has joined. Hello, Stephen. I don't know how you pronounce your name. Gostelow, is that right? John Berg says, okay, I get it. Just owning a TV requires a licence in the UK. That's right. It's the tax that we have to pay. Well, that sucks, says John Berger. Plug the Chromecast into an HDMI port, whether it's a TV or monitor. Some monitors have US ports in them. Yes. So that's what I want to do. But can you buy just a monitor? Because I've noticed that if you don't have a TV, if you don't do the TV bit, monitors seem to be much more expensive when you get them that big size. Why is that? Because you don't have the tuning mechanism. So that's what I want to do. I want to buy a television, but I want to buy a monitor, but I don't want to spend £700 on a monitor. I don't want to spend anything on one, really. Dean Cooper says, it's a pencil in the box. No, ask me if it's vegetable, and I can tell you. What's a Chromecast, says Danny Harris. Chromecast is a device that you can plug into your telly, and if you've just got like an ordinary telly, these days, an ordinary telly is not a cathode ray tube, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking, 21st century stuff. And you can then take your phone and you can cast from your phone to your telly and watch, so you can get, there's a YouTube video of the bald bloke walking about England. That's nice. Bing. And it appears on the telly, so you can control it from your phone. That's what it is. All boxes have an inside, says Linda Kane. Yes, that's true, but that's not what it is. Paul Suzanne Watt says, Now TV, USB stick is brilliant for streaming from your phone. I do it all the time. Yes, but I don't. What you say? Well, I want to buy a television. You're not getting this. It's not coming through, is it? Somehow, I'm not making myself clear. I want to buy a television that isn't a television. I want to buy a thing that looks like a television, but doesn't have the tuner in, so that you don't actually have to have the license. So if the man from the TV licensing chump comes knocking on the door, goes, I understand you've got a license in there, I can say, actually, it's just a monitor, and I do Chromecast for YouTube. I don't need a BBC licence for that, mate. So you can swan off. So that's really what I want. Richard Suggett says, I drove past Crawley this morning. The earth moved. Yes, as a result, Richard, I suggest, of you driving past, you and your great big van. By the way, Richard Suggett, should just let everybody know, is turning into an international superstar. He was smooching with celebs today in London at some media show. Just so you know, Richard Suggett now is far too expensive to appear on this show. He's gone up in the echelons of I'm insignificant anymore now. I'm just a little blip on the horizon. Memory, little sort of, what was that bloke, bald bloke? Oh yes, now that he's swanning about with all the big gardening stars of stage and screen, the famous international garden stars that you see in the feature films all the time. Liz Houston says, I've got a spare television you could use as a monitor if you like. Liz, that's very kind of you. Is it this sort of size? Is it HD? I don't want to sound ungrateful, but if it's, one of those hefty, great big box things that, came out the Ark, that has a back that deep and has a crappy black and white picture that you have to get up and go, This is the BBC Home Service. We will fight them on the beaches and the landing ground. If it's London calling, if it's anything like that, Liz, I don't need it. I don't need. But if it's a nice one, you know, if it's an up to date, massive, highly expensive £250,000 monitor like that, be lovely. No, I'm only kidding. What? Tell me. Give me a bit more details. Crystal meths, says Claire Leach. Oh, drugs, not crystallised Oh, I thought it was crystallised methylated spirit. I thought, you know, for those poor blokes out on the street, and women, of course, those poor people out on the streets, you know, who dress up in old dinner jackets with holes in their things and apparently have no houses. You know, you see them going around with paper bags that they go like this. I thought they were like the sherbet lemons for tramps. Crystal meths. That's what I thought that was. You know, that they could get them and yes, methylated spirit, crystallised methylates, lovely. You know, it's a bit like the Paramore sweets, I think, is what I'm talking about. A walnut. Is it a walnut in the box? No. I'll give you a clue. It is edible. And by the way, it isn't the last week's chocolate. Just so you know. Joke. Robert Cross says, yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can what? Hang on, I've missed some stuff. Hang on, just going back. Yeah, it's exactly why crystal meth... Yeah, that's it. Oh, is that what crystal meth is? Oh, I didn't realise that. A walnut and... Yes, you can. Joke. Replying to Matthew, been quite a few earthquakes in Nudygate. Always think Nudygate is a very odd name for a place. I always think that you have to... It's a place, you know, it's where naturists go, isn't it? You get your clothes off and you go through the Nudygate. Oh, look at me. I've got nothing on. Not a stitch. I don't know why you have to stick your arm out quite like this in the background when you do that. Nothing on. I'm in the nude, you know. Oh, I'm in the nude. You can't see my arm, actually, in the shot there. Just realised. Just as none eaten. I always think that's quite, you know, you wouldn't want to go to a restaurant in none eaten. Or you certainly wouldn't want to set up a restaurant in there. You go, I see, sir, you're going to pay the bill? No, I wasn't hungry in the end. Oh, I see. Is that why their food is still on your plate? Yes, that's right, because there's none eaten. These jokes, by the way, have come from the Ark. Noah sent them in only this morning. He sent them in, he says, do you know, I've had these jokes, Richard, for so long, I don't think I need them anymore, but you look like the sort of dumb nut who could do with them. So, there we are. The lovely Joanne Goddard is here with her... now, hang on, Joanne Goddard... hang on, what is that famous tune that they always do? The Amazing Grace... Amazing, that was the Amazing Grace. It's amazing that I managed to remember it, to be honest with you. How's it going with the old trumpet? No, sorry, not trumpet. No, not double bass. What is it? The bagpipes. That's right. How's it going? It's lovely to see you, by the way. Thanks for popping in. Dean Cooper says my shed alarm went off. Oh, a shed alarm. Is it a golf ball, says John. John Molstad. Hello, John. Lovely to see you. Sorry if I've been ignoring a few comments. Hang on, let's go back a second. I seem to have ignored tons of comments. Paul says, just get a smart TV. I don't want to pay the licence. This is the thing. I don't want to pay the licence. You can't. Julia says, is it a clove of garlic? Very close, Julia. Very close. Very close. I keep it very close to the cloves of garlic. Yes. Paul and Suzanne Watts say, just get a smart TV. You don't need anything else. YouTube, etc. is set up on it. Just connect your... Yeah, but I don't want the television bit. You see, this is the... You don't seem to understand. I don't want the television bit. Is it worth looking for a second-hand TV to act as a... I don't want the television... Carl, lovely to see you. Thanks very much. The whole point is that if they come in and they go, I see you have tuning ability on that, you have to pay the licence. Because you have to pay a licence if you've got the ability to tune. Is it a golf ball? We've done that. Get rid of your aerial and don't have Sky or Virgin. Don't have those. And you can... And and you can't get live, so you don't need a license, says Ian Beddoes. Yes, but if you have a television, if you buy a television, you have to give them your name and address. You just have to sign a form on the TV licensing office to declare that you don't watch TV, says Paul, and then they bang on your door and beat you up. I've seen the YouTube videos where they bang on the door and they go, "You got a television license?" "No." "You have. You have. You have." "Yeah, I've got it. 150 quid. Thank you." Yes, it's huge. It's about 3 years old. Oh, is it heavy? It's not a plasma, is it, lovely Liz? Maybe next time I come up and have a look at the box, at the things, maybe I'll have a look at it. I just want it to monitor the videos. Samsung do a 24-inch monitor for 100 quid, says Carl. 24 inches. I'd like it about 30. About 30, I don't know, or 60. It's diagonal, isn't it? I haven't got a measure. Here. Here's one of these. You have to be careful with these. It's a lightsaber. Well, it's a light anyway, and it's not as heavy as a saber. But yeah, something that might be quite big actually. That would be quite big. maybe that sort of size. Can you get the idea? That sort of size, like that. Doesn't have to be massive, but everywhere I go, everyone's got massive televisions, and I feel, I'm squinting at a tiny little thing. I would just like to join the rest of humanity at some point. I know I feed wood into my Essie, and I rub 2 sticks together in the morning to get it to light. I don't want to feel like a caveman all my life. Thank you. Oh, by the way, the slurp there was for Doctor with a Q. When is Bessie going on? And I don't know when Bessie. At the moment, the monitor is on just behind you. You can't see it. Bessie is there. I don't know. Don't pressurise me about Bessie. Everyone's asking me about Bessie. When's Bessie coming out? It's cold. It's going to be cold tomorrow. It's going to be cold for the next few days. We're still in winter. We are still in winter. Honestly. Matthew says you don't need a TV licence if you're just streaming unless it's the BBC iPlayer. Do I need a licence? Cream egg. Oh, back to the box. Is it a cream egg? No, but very interesting. If it had been a cream egg, I would have eaten it. Is it a cream egg? Oh, somebody else. Carl saying, is it a cream egg? Yes, it goes on the wall. Oh, yes, it goes on the wall. Oh, I am interested. 3 years old, it'll be all right, won't it? Why are you getting rid of it, Liz? Do you not like it? Have you upgraded? Is it HD? What's the picture quality? But I'm sounding like I'm being, ungrateful. I am incredibly grateful, Liz. You are a star, and I love you dearly. And you know all those lovely logs you've given me. And all the praise and everything, you're too kind. So, yes, very interested. Kendrick... Kendall Mint Cake, says Colin Head. Hello, Colin. How are you? I hope you're well. Kendall Mint Cake. That's a good one. I'm going to have a sniff now just to see. No, it's not. I'll give you this. It's not sweet. It's not sweet. Look in the box. It may be, says Glenn, it may be, cool, blimey, I'm right behind with some of these. It may be a large monitor. No, it's not a large monitor. There's been some forest fires too, says Dean. Yes, we've heard about that. The remains of one of those chocolate bars that you had last week. No, not one of those. They've gone. John Berger says, I see what you're getting at. If it's a tuner of any kind, it requires a TV. I don't know why large PC monitors are so expensive. It might have to do with hyper timing and faster refresh requirements for monitors due to gamers. Yes, well, I don't need that. It's just got to play video. I just want a large monitor that plays video, that's all. Matthew Holdworth says there's an oil drilling place in Irons Bottom near Newdigate, which may be the cause of the earthquakes. Oh, what are they drilling for? Iron? Are they drilling for iron? Oh, oil. Sorry, you did say oil. Is it this fracking? There's been forest fires too. Dean, yes, you keep telling me there's been forest fires. I think we've got the idea. Joanne Goddard says hello. Hello, Joanne. I'm really behind with the comments. Hold on. What have we got here? Onion in the box, says the lovely Julia. It's not an onion, but it's... You'd use it... Well, you might use it when you have onions. You might. It's a shallot. No, it's not a shallot. There's not many of them, actually. There's not a shallot of them. Who said that? Claire Leach and Dean... a Charlotte says Dean. No, an onion also says Anne. Glenn Johnson says get a TV. Yes, well, I was trying to save money, you see. I didn't want to spend the money on the tea. I didn't want to have the bits I didn't need. I thought it would be cheaper. No television allowed, says Chris. No televisions allowed. Oh, right, fair dues. I don't watch the television. I just want the Chromecast so I can watch my own videos. No, so I can monitor stuff and watch YouTube. Buy a second-hand TV, easy. Yeah, where do you get a second-hand TV from? Don't want to believe everything you see on YouTube. No, I don't believe everything, but every other thing. If it's a 6-foot light tube in the... Is it a 6-foot light tube? Wait. I'll give you a clue. When I put it in the box, it was square. Well, it was cuboid. It was a cube. And now it's round. Now it's a sphere. Something to do with this motion has changed it from a cube into a sphere. Danny Harris! Yes, you are so right. Oxocube in... It is... Well, it's now an oxosphere. Here it is. An ox... Well done, Danny. It's an oxosphere. Look at that. It's like a little mini football now. So, yeah, there we go. Well done. Congratulations. You get the star prize. Stuart Douch has joined. That isn't the star prize. Comments have gone frozen. Pine cone in the box. No, we've done it now. It's going to be a lovely weekend. Sarcasm. If you like wind and rain. Yes, I don't. We've upgraded. Yes, it's fine. We've got the old photos home, but we don't accept... Oh, hang on. Wait. Hang on. We've upgraded. Yes, it's fine. We'd give it to an old people's home, but they don't accept second-hand electrical equipment. Oh, I see. Oh, well, I accept second-hand I accept third-hand electrical equipment. So, yeah, no, I'll be very interested. Is it a radish? No, it's an oxocube. Is it a vegetable, says Claire Leach. No, it's an oxocube. Is it a savoury biscuit, says Henry David Allen. No, it's an oxocube. Well, sphere now. It's an oxosphere, please, ladies and gentlemen. It's an oxosphere. Is it ginger? Is it a spoon? I'll send you photos of it tomorrow. Thank you very much. Is it really heavy? Is it really heavy? Because I don't know how... I live in an old house, and I don't want it too heavy. You know, if it's like one of these... that will be a nightmare. Glenn Johnson says, TV and licence cheaper than monitor. TV and license cheaper than... Yeah, well, this is what I'm discovering. This is what I am actually discovering. Is it ginger is it ginger cat? Yes, that's right. It's a ginger cat. Linda Kane, you're right. It's an ox... It's an ox... Is it an ice cube? Yeah, no, we've done the game. We've done the game. Finished. That game's done. It's all done. 29 minutes past. Richard, why was you up at 2 a.m.? Who said I was up at 2 a.m., Glenn Johnson? It's quite heavy. Ah, yes, it's quite... Is it quite heavy? It's only... Actually, the size of this. This is exactly what I want. This size. Whatever size that is. That's what I'm after. Lightweight, so it can sit on the wall flush. I know I'm asking too much. Just a nice flush, sit on the wall. I don't want one that's like, because I think Billy's got one. It's a massive, heavy one with this great big thing. I just wanted to sort of like hang it like a picture. Obviously, this is going to be an expensive acquisition, but I want to use this Chromecast now that I've got it. Give you someone to talk to. What? You need to find a money tree. Yes, you are quite right, Serena Kirkham. Hello, Serena Kirkham, by the way. Thank you so much for coming along. I do need to find a money tree. Come and pick it up and see if it's the right weight, says Liz. Yes, I'll come and get some. When I come with Mr. Suggett, we'll pick up all those lovely logs that you've got and we'll have a look at the telly, if that's all right. 32-inch. Is that 32-inch? That must be... Hang on. That's 1 foot. That's about a foot. Oh, yeah. 32-inch. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, 32, because it's diagonal, isn't it? Mark Selwood, if you're feeling down today, why don't you cheer yourself up by visiting me down in Cornwall soon? Something to look forward to. Yes, Mark, I do want to do that. A bit busy for the next couple of weeks. But, yeah, no, that would be really good. Want to do that. Yeah, do you know, I was feeling low and down. I was just thinking, you know what it is? We all get like that, don't we? You're struggling along, you've got no money, you're banging out stuff, you're working hard, and you just suddenly, you know, one of those days. Then I put on a bit of Burt Camford in the, a bit of music, you know, and I was dancing like this, and suddenly all my worries disappeared. And then I realised I had a show to do, ladies and gentlemen. And then I was really upset. No, of course not. Listen to lathe and plaster. Do you have a lathe and plaster? Says Steve. A lathe and plaster. I don't know what you mean by that. Are you talking about wattle and daub? Is that what you're talking about? I don't live... No, this is a Victorian house that I have. It's not... I wish I lived in one of those old... like Cynthia Julian. That would be my ideal house. One of those old timber-framed houses from the 15th century with a great big inglenook fireplace. That would be my thing. But, do you know, when I drive about... Here's a thing, okay? This is a question I ask myself... Many times. You drive around the country. I'm sure Glenn does this. And many people. You drive around the country and you see these very large, old, you know, these old timber frame buildings, houses, and these in quite a bit of land. And actually, you know, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them in the country. You drive and there's all these big houses. In Sussex, there's a lot of these big houses. And you know that these houses cost... now a lot of money. You're talking millions. You're talking up there 850,000 plus into millions, you know, 1.5 million. You see these houses and I just think to myself, there's a lot of these. How do people make that sort of money? They can't all be bankers. They can't all be merchant, you know, people in the city. They can't all be that. And they're not all footballers. And they're not all reality TV stars who've hit it lucky. I just wonder what sort of professions do they have that earns that much money that they can afford these massive, great big things. And then you see all these big flash cars that people have. And I just wonder, because I've always been on the breadline and, you know, I work hard like so many, like you, all of you work hard, I'm sure. You get up, you work hard, you do an honest thing. And I just wonder, what world is it that we live in, that these people, what is it that they do that we don't, do or can't seem to do or don't have the special talent to have these great big, you know, mansion type. There's loads of them. I drive about a lot and you go, oh yeah. And I just don't understand it. I'd like to know what it is they do. I remember watching this programme on the television about a million, not a secret millionaire. It was the life of a millionaire or something like that. And I remember one of the interviewer was trying to interview the bloke who was the millionaire. And he was always on his phone. He was on his phone and they were trying to interview him about his life. And he was going, oh, sorry, hang on a minute. Yeah, no, blah, 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 blah. And he says, oh, sorry about that. That people keep ringing. Oh, hang on a minute. Sorry, I've got to go again. Blah, 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 blah. And so the interviewer wandered about whilst this bloke was on the phone and he saw two daughters of the bloke in this massive, lovely house, you know, big mansion. And they were in the swimming pool and they were splashing about, having a lovely time because they didn't work, because they had so much money, you know. And But eventually this bloke came back and he says, oh, yes, we've had the pool put in about 3 years ago. You know, the kids love it, they love it, whatever. He said, oh, hang on a minute, the phone's going. He said, I've only been in it twice. I just said, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And I thought, yeah, who wants that kind of world that you're constantly working, that you can't enjoy your own swimming pool? You've had it there and you've only been in it twice in 3 years. It just seems a bit odd. A tent with a campfire does me fine, says Dean. That's true. I wonder that all the time, says Glenn. Yeah, I'd just like to know what work people do. They can't all inherit. That can't be true, can it? And they can't all be from the city, because then there's just too many of them. I handle money a lot for wealthy people. It goes offshore. Well, if it goes offshore, how do they... Yeah, but what do they do? Sorry, lathe, but lath. Oh, and plaster. Walls in your house. Oh, no, they are brick. They are brick. The plaster is not very old. Yeah, it's a good point, though, Steve, about mounting stuff on the wall. That's why I want something light, really. Judith says bankers, solicitors, dentists and footballers. They can't all be that, though, can they? Glenn says, I've never been unemployed, but always skint. Maybe if I didn't choose music over a career, things would be different. But would I have the memories? You're quite right. And I don't know if anybody's ever watched Gary Vee on YouTube. He's a big entrepreneur in America. He's got some interesting ideas, and he tells a lot of people. But one interesting thing that he does say, he says, if ever you get a chance, go to an old people's home, particularly people towards the end of their life, and have a word with them and see what is the biggest fear that they have, the single biggest thing that they find troubling. And it's not that they're about to die. It's not that the food is rubbish. It's not that they're uncomfortable. He says the biggest thing, if you talk to old people in an old people home, the ones that are unhappy, it's they have regrets. They didn't do the things they wanted to. And I think, actually, even though these people have these wonderful houses, and I've got my little humble house here, being able to just try and do the things you want to do is much more important. No accountants. All for show, massive mortgages, HP, cars on credit cards, says Rose Brooker. Hello, Rose. Hello, Rose. Welcome to the show. No, it is interesting. I don't know how people... I just don't understand how people get there. I would... it would be lovely. What kind of a life would it be... to have a big, not too big, obviously, just to have a place in the countryside so you can hear the birds. I tell you what it is. It's that. I tell you what it is. Here it is. I'll put it into layman's terms for you. It isn't the size of the property. It isn't the fact that some people have got jobs that earn lots of money. That's not really the thing, because they're all nice people. I'm sure they're nice people and they mean well. And people obviously have luck of the draw of where they're born and how their, career goes and a lot of that stuff. But I tell you what's troubling, what troubles me, and I don't know if it troubles you, and that is money in this strange world that we have. And I'm not a socialist. I err towards capitalism, but not major capitalism. I just get that out because I don't think that we ought to share. If you've worked hard all your life and then you've got to share it around with all the people who haven't worked, I do feel that's a little bit out of order. But let's not get into that. No, the thing that I think is a bit sad is that if you do have enough money, you could buy a place in the countryside. You could get away from the noise of roads and aeroplanes, and by having a place in the countryside, you could listen to birdsong, and not have neighbours playing music that you don't like, or screaming kids down the road. For me, it isn't the size of the property and the bigness of the car. I'm not interested in the material thing, but what I would love, it could be a shack in a little forest. But just to be able to walk out and step into the world and think, isn't this wonderful? Isn't this beautiful? Isn't this... And I just think that we're overcrowding the world at the moment. People are living in these boxes, on these estates. We're all having to work for too many hours. We're living just to work, and we're not able to walk out into the countryside. And yes, of course, we can all go into the countryside, get into our cars and drive into the countryside and stand there for an hour or two and then go, oh, it's a bit cold, then get back in our car and drive. Yeah, we can do that. Of course we can. But I'm just saying, it's a shame, isn't it, that it takes a lot of money to be able to go and live somewhere and step outside into this wonderful world that we're poisoning and putting pesticides in and getting rid of the wildlife and the bugs and the creatures and the birds and all the things. And that in order to have that, you have to have a lot of money. Otherwise, you've got to live in, you know, crowded up on top of everybody, with everybody, you know, keeping up with the Joneses and all of that. Or you've got... I just find it's a strange situation. Better to be skint and happy. Yes, I agree with you there, Robert Croser. Steve Pilfor says, my parents had a late Victorian terrace house with lath and plaster walls. Awful for putting more than a poster up. Yes, exactly, true. Chris Nash says, true. Claire Leach says, I've never been unemployed, but always managed to scrape by somehow. Besides, you can't take it with you when you go. That's also very true. A lot of it comes from inheritances, says Dave Ford. Well, I mean, you're a man who would know because you used to be in the banking business, so you would know where it comes from. Plus, you don't have any idea what's on credit. Well, you don't. I mean, I know this is... I mean... How do people... Answer me this one. How do people put stuff on credit on the basis that every month they've got to earn a certain amount of money? How do they do that? How do they live with that responsibility? When I buy a car, if I haven't got the money, I can't buy that car. I won't buy a car on HP, which is why I drive the car I drive, and run it into the ground. Because I cannot bear to think I'd have to find £200-300 a month. I mean, certainly from what I do, you know, I'm lucky if I get £10 a month. But maybe a bit more than that. But you know what I'm saying, though? It's people put stuff on. It's this just-in-time mentality. I mean, all this business with Brexit, when they're talking about, oh, but the car industry, it works on this just-in-time thing. And I just think to myself, is that really healthy that we are all living on the edge of this just-in-time? We've just got enough money to pay Peter to pay Paul, and people... Not saying that you've got to save your money, but it would be nice to, if you're only earning enough, but you just don't buy so much all the time. We buy more than we ever need. We're constantly buying, that's nice. Oh, look at that, chuck that away. I want that now. We're constantly having to run to the next thing. I just don't understand it. I'm happy with having just enough money and live reasonably comfortably, says Judith. Good for you, Judith. Claire Leach says, plus you don't have any idea. Oh, yes, I read that. Glenn says, when you're sitting in the room, it doesn't matter what it's outside in the room. You can't see it. That's true. This is why I think people are now switching to this VR, the virtual reality, that people actually will not need possessions at all. They'll just wear these masks and they can have whatever, apparently, they can have whatever they want. You know, they can look around the room and have gold-plated chairs and massive televisions if they want, because they're wearing this deception. But that, to me, is a bit more scary. Robert says, a pretty... boring life, Richard Vobes. A lot of my clients are very wealthy, but not one are happy with their lives. Just adds to your woes, money. Well, and I agree with you there. And the thing is, it's not, and that my point isn't about having money. It's not about what, I mean, I'm just curious what people have to do to get these big properties. But for me, it's having the ability to live in the countryside, because you can't do that. I mean, lovely Ed Warren, for example, who lives at Northgate, North Chapel, beg your pardon. He told me he was born in North Chapel, lived in North Chapel, little village, rural village in the middle of nowhere, near Petworth. Lovely place, beautiful place, lovely scenery, just down the road from Blackdown. Lovely chap. But he said, you know, came to of age and he left home, couldn't afford to buy in his own village. Could not afford to buy in his own village. Had to go and live somewhere else for a long time. Lived in a flat and all the rest of it. And now rent's a beautiful place. But in order to come back, couldn't afford to buy. And it just seems wrong. It just seems wrong that we got into that situation where the very big rich bankers and all the rest of it have decided that no, they're going to buy all the nice homes in the villages, all these beautiful chocolate box houses, which actually used to be villagers who used to work and do things on the land, and these were like, you know, quite shabby and poor places at one time that were not really worth a huge amount of money, but now suddenly are worth millions. It just seems very strange that we've gone into that world. I mean, I suppose I just struggle with it. Joanne Goddard says, a case of having what you want or wanting what you have. Yes, that's true. Glenn says, I loved my caravan in St. Leonard's. It was small, but the garden was great. You saw it last weekend. Yes, we were probably trespassing through your garden. And that is the other thing. If you can travel about and not have to, you know, that would be lovely if you could take a little bit of internet with you. I mean, I suppose it is all more possible. I suppose the advantages are actually, when you think about it, turn it round on its head, you could buy a small caravan, as you say, travel about with the caravan cheaply and have the world as your garden. And I suppose that's really what one, you know, maybe that's what I'm thinking at. Fiona Cooper says, I don't own a penny, never will have anything on credit. That's right. It's everybody's life is very different, and I'm not criticising anybody who has a lot or has a little, of course. The question is are you happy? And that's why I love to walk into the countryside. And you know, the other day when I was filming with the beech trees, when I put that furrow and ridge and furrow thing up, there was just that moment. I was overwhelmed by the beauty of the situation. And it's, you know, it's interesting. You can go out into the countryside, and I go out into the countryside quite a bit, as you know, and you know, you're busy making a video and all the rest of it, rushing back to edit it to get it back up online. But that was a moment. And I don't know if they're ridge and furrows from ancient times, but I've stood there on those, what I thought were ancient ridges and furrows from a time long ago when men were doing that. I was absolutely overwhelmed with emotion. And I know that might come over as strange. I was standing there thinking I could almost see, smell and feel the men that worked on those ridge and furrows and their wives and families who depended on them. I could almost, you know, I was almost transported back just seeing that undulated surface, standing in that amazing beech woodland. And it was, I cannot express, I cannot find the words to tell you the amazing experience that was. Just for, I was transported through time, and it was, I know, you know, one mustn't look at the past with rose-tinted glasses, because it's a very dodgy thing to do that, because we didn't have penicillin and we didn't have doctors, and you know, people died, and there were plagues and famine and starvation, and your children died, and there was a lot of pain, and 50% of the population at any one time would have been in pain or have a headache or have toothache or something, because you couldn't, you know, I understand all that, but there was it was like being in the Star Trek Enterprise, being beamed down actually among those people for a moment. It was utterly staggering. And then you drive back and you've got the smell of the cars, and there's some daft idiot burning wood in his Essie, and you think, oh, really? Hang on a minute, I've got a lot of comments to go through, so let's go through. Sorry, today's show's gone a bit philosophical. Only buy what you can afford, says Anne. I mean, this is all good advice. You're absolutely right. Never owned... I've done that one. Rose says, same here. I get by on my salary, but if I can't afford something, then I don't have it and I save up. Can't stand owing money. I've never sleep at night. Absolutely. I managed some years ago to get rid of credit cards, and I mean a long time ago, and to get rid... And I don't buy anything on the HP, you know, and I so feel for those people that have to. I feel it in my heart. Those people who, in order to get stuff, have to buy that. But at the same time, there's this entitlement mentality that seems to be about that. You know, you're going to go into a house. Oh, I've got to have a spin dryer and a spin dryer. I've got to have a tumble dryer, and I've got to have a washing machine, and I better have a bidet as well, and I must have a shower unit, and the doors must all work, and it's all got to be, you know, perfect. There's this weird mentality, that entitlement that people have. It's very odd. Just in time in manufacturing sense is components delivered a day before you run out. I know what it is. I know. It just seems... It seems our lives are running in that weird just in time. Everything's like... Nobody seems to be able to just sit and contemplate. You know, nobody seems to be able to just be. And just be there. And just sort of go, do you know what? This world, this experience, this life is magical. Just, you know, looking at something, holding a friend's hand, sharing a moment with somebody, smelling a flower. So, I know you can't live by that. It doesn't pay the mortgage. I know all of that, of course. But you know, we're bombarded on our phones now and in the media to buy this and buy that, and it's and the older I get, the more I'm trying to shun all of that and get away from all of that. All of this people telling me what to do and what I should do and how I should look and what skin products I need, and you know, this will improve your life, and you've got to get so many likes and follows and shares and this and that, and you must do that, you know. Sitting on my step just outside my house on the busy street, reading one of the books that the lovely Elaine Brazier has sent me, a second-hand book and what have you, and just going, do you know, this is magic. That's what life's about. Glenn Johnson's Everybody Wants More. It's true. Thatcher's Britain says Chris E. Nash. I don't know that I hold completely with that. Some people hit hard times and they have to use credit cards and bank loads. It's called survival. You're absolutely right, and that's why I said my heart goes out to those people. John Moistad says, I don't know if that's how you pronounce your name. It says, how do people in London afford the housing? Who's profiting from the outrageous prices? It seems so expensive in London. If you see what I see at work, it would really make you appreciate what you have. Vulnerable people on drugs, this is Claire Leach says, and mental health. Hang on, I've just lost half of it. Bear with me, Claire. Vulnerable people and drugs and mental health, huge debts and relying on food banks. I feel so privileged to have people who love me. Yes, you know, that's what people need to see, isn't it? They need to see that there's a lot of hardship out there, and there's a lot of people who don't know how to help themselves at the same time. Ex-council tenants in a lot of cases, says Steve to John. Robert Croser says, it's the reason I go into the countryside to escape. We do need to escape, and the country... Why am I doing this? Oh yes, to reset our mental capabilities. Not that we're having strange signals bursting out of our skulls. Actually, I've become a 5G station. Just so you know, if you do your 5G through my skull, it avoids knocking down trees. I recommend it. They give you lots and lots of money. You can live in a big country mansion in the countryside. You've just got to do this for about 5 hours a day. No trees get hurt. and you're sending out 5Gs. Quite what that does, I have no idea, but it feels good and looks very silly. Robert Croser says it's... Oh, yes, he's done that. The reason escape. The Russians own a huge chunk of our capital city. Dean Cooper, that's Kevin Hall. Dean Cooper says, I'm happy, money helps, but it doesn't fix everything. No, that's true. You need people to get up there on the roof to fix the roof, but you have to pay them, of course. That is the downside. But that's not the downside for them. Glenn Johnson says you don't need to live in the country. You can go there whenever you want. It's true, but you've got to be able to get there. You can go there whenever you want. I felt the Ridge and Furrow experience. I had it. Yes, it's true. It would be nice, though, wouldn't it? Steve Pulford says, standing, being taken back to a time when people dug you up from the grave and put your severed head in a jar. What? I don't know what you're talking about there. That sounds like something from a book I once read. Lighten up the show, says Kevin Hall. Ah, now that's interesting, isn't it? Kevin, what do you mean lighten up the show? You don't have to watch. I can't lighten up the show. We've got 3 minutes to go. Anyway, I've just done all this. What are you talking about? Lighten up the show. We're just being philosophical. Kevin Levitt says, I'm liking the show. Great conversation. There we go. Look, I can't please make note of this. I come into this studio. Sometimes I can make a complete fool of myself. Some days you just want to talk about things that matter to you. And I know it's not going to be for everybody. And I can't just, when people say, and no disrespect to you, Kevin, because you're a great bloke, but people always want to sort of tell you what to do. And when people do that, it makes you actually not want to do what they say. It's a very strange thing. So I can't just, lighten up like that. It's a strange thing. Robert Crosser says gallery. Kevin Hall, oh, now you're not lightening up the show by telling me scores. I don't know what football teams. That's Tottenham, 0. Come on, you Spurs, Chelsea, 0. That means nothing to me. I don't watch football. Danny Harris says, I was just as happy before I became a multi-billionaire. I bet you were. Mark Green has joined. Hello, Mark. Lovely to see you. Thank you for coming in. We've only got 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes. 1 minute to go. It's been an interesting show. Perhaps not for you. Danny Harris is smiling. Mark Green says, live within your means and be happy. I thought you were... Oh, imagining having hair, says Claire. Yes, long 5G. This is the signal. 5G. If it was 2G, this would be 2G. I'd be riding a GG. Adrian Lidgett. Hello, Adrian. Hope you're well. Nice to see you. We're just about to end the show, actually. Linda Kane says 5G. Why? So you can have... Download HD film in 10 seconds. Trees get in the way so they get the chop. No, the whole point is if you do this, you don't need to chop the trees down. This is the new... I don't know if it works, but if we could get the whole world doing this, saying this was 5G, we would have achieved something. Nothing very practical, but I think it's time to end the show, don't you? I think we've got. Instead of you guys lifting me up, I think I've taken you all on a downer. I thought Richard had gone to Egypt, fanning his hair. No, this is the 5G signals. Boo, boo. Anyway, that's why I drive steam engines. Old ways, no technology. There you go, mate. Well done, Mark Green. Thomas says, sometimes deep conversation works. Well, it gets you thinking, doesn't it? That's what it's about. If you can't every now and again get you thinking, most of the time, I stop you from thinking. Today I've got you to thinking. Steve Pilfoy said, oh, that told you... No, Kevin, don't take it that way. Please don't take it that way. No, we've got some more Da Vinci Resolve to get through. I can I can bore you rigid with Da Vinci Resolve techniques. Don't you worry about that, Kevin. He's a good man. Now you leave Kevin alone. Good show, very entertaining. Thank you very much. We do our best. Some days I'm more sillier than other days, and you know, today is just one of those days. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of the hour. I don't want to keep you a moment longer from the rest of your life, because I'm sure you'll enjoy that. Take care and enjoy yourselves. Have a lovely time, and I'll be back. What day is it today? Wednesday. I'll be back on Friday. I'll be in a higher, lighter, jollier, friendlier mood. So please, if you've been affected by anything in today's show, don't forget you can email me on the helpline. I don't actually answer any of those questions, but if it makes you feel good, then email me on the helpline. Just write the words HELP on a very large balloon and send them into outer space. That's probably the best thing. Anyway, no, don't have a go at Kevin. He's a nice bloke. Now you're making me feel guilty. He's watching the football now anyway. So there we go. Didn't hear anything in the video. Yeah, it's all good. Anyway, I'm going. Okay. Take care, one and all. Look after yourselves. Goodbye for now. Goodbye. Goodbye. Sinking into the bottom of the earth and disappearing from sight or sound.